Are you drowning in a mess of business receipts? Are you unsure what you should save and where? You deserve an organized digital system with fewer clicks, less frustration, and a financial story that actually matches your marketing story. Today, you're going to learn how to move beyond a messy spreadsheet and build a solid financial foundation for business growth. Hello, I'm Amy Novick, a Google certified trainer and professional organizer. I empower business owners by helping them set up, organize, and customize their Google Workspace so they can stop fighting their digital tools and start growing their business. Joining me today is Jill McGregor, a profit-first professional and my own bookkeeper. We've worked together since 2021 to ensure my finances are as organized as my Google Workspace. And today, we're going to help you do the same. Comment below and let us know, what is your biggest recurring frustration with your business finances? Is it tracking receipts or understanding what the numbers actually mean? Before we dive into Jill's simplifying tips, click the link below to grab my free time-saving hacks guide so you can start reclaiming your time today.
As business owners grow, they can grow into different bookkeeping and accounting software. If you had 3 or 4 levels from spreadsheets all the way to QuickBooks, what would be the software you would recommend at each stage and why?
Spreadsheets can be helpful for tracking things that happen outside of the business accounts, but that shouldn't be happening. That's my problem with a spreadsheet, is it's giving people permission to do what they shouldn't be doing.
Okay. All right.
That's how I look at it. I understand if you start up a business in October and you don't have a bank account open, you're probably using your personal bank account. So that should be a limited spreadsheet. That should be, here's the spreadsheet of the 33 things I had to pay for before I opened my business account, but then it should have a definitive end, and we should not have that spreadsheet going forward. I mean, the only exception to that is maybe mileage. Most people track that in a spreadsheet.
Okay.
But you can honestly argue even QuickBooks has a mileage tracker, right? Cool. I'm not a big fan of starting at a spreadsheet level, also because what spreadsheets don't do is they do not do financial statements. You can have your income, but what about the balance in your bank account? What about the balance on your credit card? What about the balance if you loaned money from yourself to the bank? You can't put that in the spreadsheet unless you are an accountant and know how to build a balance sheet and an income statement from scratch. Right. But most people won't. And that balance sheet is actually almost more important than your profit and loss statement, because your balance sheet tells you what your business is actually worth.
Got it. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Not a fan of the spreadsheet.
Okay. So if people are scared of QuickBooks or nervous.
But QuickBooks has lots of levels. Like QuickBooks has a new level now called the QuickBooks Ledger. And it's basically like your digital bank register, and it's much more simple. You can't invoice, you can't get paid. Like it's literally like Quicken for business.
Okay.
But it's called the QuickBooks Ledger, and it's $10 a month. So It's a great starting place, because then from there you can upgrade into your QuickBooks levels. And I think people don't understand that there are levels even within QuickBooks, that you can go from a $10 a month beginner, connect my bank and just have a bank register, to a $250 a month or more if you have multiple entities. QuickBooks has like this vast number of levels. And I think people just think they have to go into the $80 version of QuickBooks, which most businesses need, but you don't have to start there.
Okay, that's amazing.
Like you're not on the $80 version. You don't need it. You invoice out of a CRM or another system. So I think you're at the $26 version, right?
That makes sense.
And I shouldn't just say QuickBooks. There are free versions of accounting software. Wave is one of them, and Xero, Xero, both offer free basic versions of accounting software. It's like saying Kleenex versus tissue. QuickBooks, everybody just thinks QuickBooks. There are other accounting systems out there. They are more limited, like Wave and Xero can't do multi-million-dollar businesses like they can't do a video production company that we're aware of, right? Like they can't do what I'm doing here in the healthcare, where I have 4 companies and we're trying to intertwine them. but they're perfect for a startup. They're perfect for somebody who has a separate CRM system that does all the invoicing and bill collecting. They're excellent for that. So there are other options than QuickBooks. QuickBooks is just the industry standard.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
you know, much like there are other web browsers, but we all use Chrome.
Right.
Because it's the industry standard.
Yeah.
Even if we're a Microsoft company, we often use Chrome, right? We use a Google browser. So QuickBooks is kind of the same way.
Okay. Amazing. Thanks. Those are awesome. Somebody else was asking me, so it's a cleaning company and some people Zelle her or run the money that way electronically, but other people give her cash or checks. And she wants to figure out how best to track that stuff and, you know, how often she should deposit it and how to actually track who gave her what. And so I just didn't know what you had in mind. What do you recommend?
QuickBooks. You can set up invoices in QuickBooks and never send them to a client. So you could have recurring invoices that you can then mark paid with Zelle or cash so you know where it came from.
In regards to organizing, since we met in an organizing company, right? We met through organizing. Obviously, like you like to stay organized, I like to stay organized. How do you best recommend that business owners stay organized with their finances, receipts, in either using QuickBooks or Google or what?
Yeah, QuickBooks is great for capturing receipts when you as the owner are doing most of the work yourself. And here's why. It has a great app for capturing receipts right on the spot. The issue we run into with clients when we're doing the categorizing and we're doing the organizing is we are often 2 steps ahead of the client. And so they get the receipt in after we have already touched the transaction, and it's like double work. So I tell people, if you are doing your own bookkeeping and you are using QuickBooks, then put the app on your phone and use the receipt capture right there, because it does basically create a folder of receipts. Like it's a database for your receipts, a box. If you're working with somebody like me, where I'm already reviewing every transaction, I tell people the best thing to do is set up a Google Drive and just say 2025 receipts. And if you have a lot of receipts, like more than 20 a month under each, create a month for all your receipts. If maybe you have 50 or 60 receipts for the whole year, just put them in a 1 year. Because the only time you will have to produce those receipts is in the event of an audit. And no accountant is probably going to come question an individual receipt. That's not the accountant's job. The receipt collection or the maintaining of the receipts is to protect you in the event you would be audited, which is really statistically very unlikely. And even at that, I have been through audits with clients when I was employed by the CPA firm. I have never been through what I would call a comprehensive audit where they want every receipt for every year. Typically, it is a targeted audit, and they are going to ask for one particular category of expenses and want those receipts. Case in point, I had an audit. They saw that they were paying the window washer in cash because that was under repair and maintenance. We had invoices from the window washer that showed we paid them $25 cash every week, and it was fine. And we had 10 months out of the 12 months, and the IRS was satisfied because we were doing due diligence on keeping the receipts. Like clearly we were paying a legitimate window washer.
Got it.
So they did not ask for all $1 million worth of expenses for receipts that year. They asked for repair and maintenance because that was the particular area they were auditing.
Yeah.
I tell people receipt maintenance is very important. Mine are literally in a binder. At the end of the year, I take all of my 2025 receipts. I put them in a manila envelope. I write 2025 business receipts and I file it away with the tax return, never to be looked at again.
Right.
And in 7 years, I will pitch them.
Got it.
Because remember the audit, they can only go back 7 years.
Right.
So.
Right. And I will say, while we're on that topic, that if people are wanting to save them digitally and not on paper, Google Drive, if you have that on your phone, and so you can just scan it and then you can pitch the paper as long as it's in Google Drive. So yeah.
And remember, people are constantly sending me like their Google subscription receipt from in their email. I'm like, no, you could go into your Google admin dashboard and get all the payment. I don't, as the bookkeeper, need those sorts of things that are connected to an account. Send me the restaurant when you went out with 3 clients for lunch. Send me that one, please, so I know it's a legitimate business meal. Don't send me your cell phone bill. Don't send me the recurring trash bill, because you can log into your waste management account and get that should you need it. As a bookkeeper, I don't need those. Now, if they're coming to you still in a paper form, fine, keep them with your other receipts. But oftentimes my clients want to do their very best in that area, and they're actually spending way too much time and energy on tracking those receipts and getting them to me. And it would be a much better use of their time if they would just work in their business.
I love it. I love it. Yes, that's the goal for the year.
I tell people this that's one of the intimidating things about QuickBooks too, is you don't need 27,000 expense accounts in QuickBooks, because 9 times out of 10, you're not tracking it, and or you're going to spend more time tracking an individual expense to break it down. We'll say like a Walmart run, just put that to office expense. Don't break it down into repair and maintenance and cleaning and software and batteries, unless you're truly budgeting that way and planning your business on those small individual things. It is not a good use of your time.
Love it. Love it.
So
you're all about saving time.
And again, being organized to the micro level that stresses you out is not helpful as a business owner for you. And it's certainly not helpful as a bookkeeper for me.
Right. Amen to all of that.
And when you get into Profit First, which I know we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've taken away from Profit First, is some of the simplicity of it is so beautiful.
So cool. I love it. So say that again. You were talking about simplifying.
Yeah. One of the goals for many of my clients this year is to simplify what everyday business expenses they're tracking in terms of what category, because when you can simplify that, it better aligns with the Profit First methodology that most of my clients are using. So that's a goal for us this year, is to help some of our clients understand why simplification can actually be good.
So what are the big categories?
So I would say big categories are advertising and marketing, office expenses, separate from repair and maintenance. Meaning in office supplies, put your cleaning supplies in office supplies. If you have a small kitchen, put your kitchen supplies, put your paper and that stuff in office supplies. But if you have to replace a door, repair and maintenance, what else would be in repair and maintenance? You know, repair and maintenance is truly like building type things. Like if you just have to replace a key on a door, is that really repair and maintenance? Is that office supply? Because here at the end of the day, from an IRS tax perspective, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're going to get a dollar for dollar deduction on it, whether you put it in office supply or repair and maintenance. That's partially why people spend so much time and get so concerned about, well, I have to put all of these things in the exact category. There's very few categories that you're not going to get a dollar for dollar deduction on a business tax return. Meals is one of them. I need to truly know, is this a business meal, a travel meal, or is this, I ordered lunch in for myself today and I'm going to put it on the business credit card? Because meals are something the IRS does look at. So that's one category where it's important for me to know what kind of meal it is. Repair and maintenance is the other thing. If you do a really big replacement of something, like I had to replace all the carpet in my office, okay, I need to know that that was more than just I had the carpet cleaned, right? Like those sorts of things might be different on it. But everything else, like whether you're spending the money on a social media ad or you send your money to the printer to have brochures printed, it's advertising and marketing.
Right.
It could also be categorized as office expense. It's the same deduction on a tax return. Is it important for you as your business to know what you're spending on advertising and marketing? And maybe it's important for you to understand, how much am I spending on print media versus social media? Okay, if those are important things in your business and you're tracking your return on investment for marketing based on those things, then great, I'm happy to break them down. But if you're like, I have a $2,500 a year marketing budget, and other than that, I don't really care, I don't want to waste your money and my energy breaking down every single transaction.
That makes sense. So you have marketing, you have office supplies, repairs and maintenance. What else are the big buckets?
Contractors, payroll, utilities and rent. Those are important ones to be tracking. And then usually we call it legal and professional services. You have a bookkeeper, you have a CPA, you probably have a business attorney. If you do any sort of consulting, like you are the one receiving the consulting. For some businesses, continuing education is an important category. I'd say maybe a third of my clients have continuing education, but a lot of times they just put it in legal and professional services because it could also be considered that. Or they'll put it in as contractors. That's where it's like, how are they tracking it for what purpose? But those are probably the big categories. Oh, and taxes. So
Taxes, of course.
taxes. Can't forget the taxes.
Thank you. Those are great categories.
I think it all comes back to the old adage of bad data in, bad data out, good data in, good data out. If profit first is something you really want to do, I would encourage people to take a little time and look at their books and try to clean them up as best they can. It's often a project, and it's often a project that a business owner can get partially through, but bookkeepers like myself, like I love untangling something like that. I love working with business owners because financial statements do tell a story about your business. There's a narrative about your business that you do in marketing. You tell a story about your business. You talk about your products. You talk about your services through marketing. But there's the financial story that has to back what you're doing. And I often find when business owners want to take it to the next level and they want to go to the bank or they want to go to a private investor, they need both the storyboard, the marketing piece, but they need the financial story. And that's usually the part that's missing. The financial story in their bookkeeping doesn't match the other story. And it's simply because it's unorganized and it isn't properly put together. So I love being able to take messy financial statements and be able to see the story at the end.
I love it. Yes, a lot of business owners will need that part.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then since we both use Google a lot, what are the ways in which you use any Google tools or apps in running your business or profit first? Like you as a bookkeeper and dealing with all this, what tools do you use or how do you use Google to run your business?
Mostly Google Sheets. Like all of my profit first clients and I each have a shared Google Sheet that we track the profit numbers and the percentages. And I love Google Sheets because we can share it. So we can be in it at the same time. We can have conversation about that. Of course, Google Docs for agendas. And then the Google Drive for receipts. Google Drives is great for receipt capturing. And as you said, on the phone, you can do an image right into your Google Drive. So those are probably the three biggest ones.
And then what is the best way to connect with you? And do you have space for new clients? I know you're kind of full.
The best way to connect with me is to do a consult request through my website, which is jsmclientservices.com. I have some capacity after March 1st. Okay. So right now we're heavy into end of year 1099 and tax preparation. So my capacity usually opens up again come spring.
Great. I love that. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation today, and we'll get some people connecting with you on your website. Perfect. And it's just nice to see you. And I love organizing stuff and working with you in accounting and Google stuff. So
thanks.
Thanks.
I love working with you too.
Yay. Remember the old adage, bad data in, bad data out. When you organize your email, drives, files, and calendars to align with your bookkeeping needs, you transform from a messy, frustrated entrepreneur into a confident CEO of a growing business. Ready to stop the tech headaches and get your digital house in order? Schedule a clarity call with me today using the link below. Working together, we will complete an audit, identify your top goals, and organize your Google Workspace specifically for you. Click the link below to ensure that you feel confident in your own digital space. I look forward to helping you succeed.